Throughout the history of the Pokémon world, few objects hold as much significance as the Poké Ball. From their mysterious origins to their widespread use in modern times, Poké Balls have not only shaped the journey of countless trainers, but have also become a symbol of connection between humans and Pokémon. The evolution of Poké Balls tells a story of ingenuity, adaptation, and the desire to understand and care for the creatures that inhabit this vibrant world. Each variation, from the earliest handcrafted designs to the most advanced technological marvels, reflects the values and needs of the people who created and used them. As the years have passed, new materials, discoveries, and philosophies have continually transformed the Poké Ball, weaving together tradition and innovation. Artisans, inventors, and trainers have all left their mark on its design, responding to the challenges and opportunities of each era. Every change in the Poké Ball's form and function speaks to a broader narrative of curiosity, empathy, and progress. The Poké Ball has always been more than a simple tool. It is a testament to the enduring relationship between people and Pokémon, and to the evolving understanding of that bond. Tonight, as we journey through the complete history of Poké Balls, allow yourself to settle into the gentle flow of invention and discovery. The story unfolds softly, tracing lines from myth and legend through craftsmanship and science, touching on moments of triumph, reflection, and even controversy. Let the rhythm of progress soothe your mind. Drift into rest, while the legacy of Poké Balls quietly reveals itself, one evolution at a time. Chapter 1: Ancient Beginnings, the First Poké Balls. Somewhere between legend and memory, the earliest known attempts to capture and companion Pokémon were not born in laboratories or factories. They began with hands, forest materials, and a great deal of uncertainty. In distant legends and old tales, people spoke of objects and rituals that symbolized the first connections between humans and Pokémon. These stories, found in anime episodes and movies such as Lucario and The Mystery of Mew, show how early societies searched for ways to form bonds with Pokémon. Sir Aaron's staff, for example, was used to contain Lucario's aura. Though this staff is not called a Poké Ball, it hints at the efforts of ancient humans to channel and understand the power of their Pokémon companions. In these stories, the relationship between humans and Pokémon was marked by uncertainty and respect, with many people approaching these creatures with caution and awe. Early Pokémon societies often looked to the natural world for inspiration. Some in-universe legends suggest that the first Poké Balls were influenced by the environment, though details about these origins are rare. The atmosphere surrounding these beginnings is filled with curiosity and reverence. Ancient societies observed the world around them, searching for ways to connect with Pokémon through materials found in the forests and fields. In the Hisui region, as seen in Pokémon Legends Arceus, people lived in a time when humans and Pokémon largely did not coexist peacefully, with wild Pokémon often regarded as dangerous and unpredictable. Encounters between the two were often marked by fear and uncertainty. Based on what Pokémon Legends Arceus depicts, the process of coexistence appears to have been slow and delicate, shaped by each new interaction and careful experiment. Despite these challenges, some ancient communities began to craft simple devices to aid in their interactions with Pokémon. In Pokémon Legends Arceus, the earliest Poké Balls were made from apricorns combined with other natural materials such as wood and tumblestones. These early devices were shaped by hand and had a rougher, more organic appearance than modern Pokéballs, though they retained a broadly familiar rounded form. Their design was basic, lacking the complex mechanisms of modern Pokéballs, yet they carried a sense of purpose and hope. When held in the hands of their creators, these primitive Pokéballs represented a bridge between worlds. Each one was a symbol of humanity's desire to reach out and form a connection with the unknown. The primary purpose of these first Poké Balls was to capture Pokémon and allow humans to interact with them more safely. Crafting and using these devices required patience and skill. The process was not straightforward, and success was far from certain. In the beginning, people had to learn through trial and error. The earliest users faced many limitations. The materials available to them were often unpredictable, and their understanding of Pokémon behavior was still developing. Some anime episodes depict these early Poké Balls as durable, able to last through centuries, but their effectiveness depended on the craftsmanship and care of their makers. In certain stories, such as the anime episode Just Waiting on a Friend, an antique Poké Ball associated with the character Lococo is shown as very old. These aged devices remind us that the designs used by ancient societies were often different from those seen today. The construction methods and materials varied, and little is known about the exact processes. What is clear from these depictions is that early Pokeballs were not always reliable. Sometimes they would fail to function as intended, or require repeated attempts before a Pokémon could be safely contained. This atmosphere of trial and error shaped the experiences of those who used these primitive devices. Despite their limitations, these early Pokeballs were valued for their durability. Some ancient examples have been shown to remain functional long after their creation. This hints that at least some early makers invested considerable care in their work, though how widespread or consistent that craftsmanship was remains unclear. Their efforts were not only practical, but also deeply symbolic. Each successful capture marked a step toward understanding and coexistence. The perseverance required to master these early Pokeballs reflected the determination of humans to build relationships with Pokémon, even when faced with uncertainty. As time passed, the use of Pokeballs began to influence the culture of ancient Pokémon societies. These devices became more than just tools. They took on a special significance within communities. In some Pokémon movies and anime episodes, early Pokeballs are shown as central to the rituals and relationships of the time. People gathered to witness the first captures, and stories were told about those who succeeded in forming bonds with powerful Pokémon. The presence of Pokeballs in these stories often symbolized trust and partnership. When a Pokémon remained within a Pokéball, it was often interpreted as a sign of emerging cooperation and respect between species. The influence of Pokeballs extended into social practices and traditions. In-universe historical stories suggest that the devices played a meaningful role in shaping the way humans and Pokémon lived together. Though specific cultural rituals are rarely described in detail, there are hints in some legendary tales that Pokeballs were used in ceremonies or as part of important events. These moments helped to strengthen the sense of community and shared purpose within early societies. People would gather to celebrate the arrival of new Pokémon partners, and these gatherings became a way to pass down values and stories from one generation to the next. The use of Pokeballs also brought about new ways of thinking about relationships. Some anime episodes featuring legendary tales suggest that these early devices were associated with positive interactions. They became a symbol of hope and possibility, showing that humans and Pokémon could learn to trust one another. The appearance of Pokeballs in these stories marked the beginning of a new era, in which cooperation and understanding became guiding principles. Even as the details of these rituals remain mysterious, the presence of Pokeballs helped to shape the identity and values of ancient Pokémon societies. Over time, the role of Pokeballs in early culture became foundational. They were seen as more than just objects. They represented the spirit of discovery and mutual respect that defined the relationship between humans and Pokémon. Communities built traditions around their use, and the act of capturing a Pokémon became a moment of significance. Through these simple devices, ancient societies were able to bridge the gap between worlds, creating a foundation for the future. The early Poké Balls served as reminders of the patience, skill and hope that guided the first steps toward partnership and understanding. Chapter 2: Apricorn Craft, the Artisans Era. In Johto, the craft of shaping apricorns into Pokéballs grew from humble origins into a respected tradition. Where Chapter 1 traced the earliest instincts to harness natural materials, this chapter follows that thread forward into workshops and family traditions where apricorns were not merely harvested, but deliberately transformed. Kurt of Azalea Town became the most visible inheritor of this craft, but the techniques he practiced were shaped by generations of artisans before him. In the lore of Johto, apricorns are not just fruit, but a symbol of ingenuity, representing the careful observation and resourcefulness of early trainers. Over generations, their use became central to the creation of traditional Pokeballs, as seen in the work of skilled individuals such as Kurt in Azalea Town. Through in-game dialogue and anime references, apricorns are often portrayed as the foundation upon which the first reliable capturing devices were built, marking a shift from legend to practical innovation. The transformation of apricorns into Pokeballs required more than simple harvesting. Skilled craftspeople like Kurt dedicated themselves to developing specialized methods, passing down techniques through families or small communities. Within workshops such as Kurt's in Azalea Town, apricorns were carefully selected, then prepared through a series of precise steps. The process began with hollowing out the apricorn shell, a delicate task that demanded steady hands and a deep understanding of the material's structure. Once hollowed, the shells were treated to preserve their integrity and enhance their capacity to channel energy. Artisans would then assemble the pieces, fitting them together with care to create a seamless, functional device. The tools used in this process were often crafted specifically for working with apricorns, reflecting the unique requirements of the craft. Although the exact methods remain a closely held tradition and are not fully shown in-game, the depiction of Kurt's daily routine, accepting apricorns and returning finished Pokeballs the next day, suggests a methodical approach honed by years of practice. Over time, these techniques became more refined, resulting in Pokeballs that were increasingly reliable and effective. The artistry involved was not only technical, but also communal, with families and towns sharing in the work and pride of producing these vital tools. As the art of apricorn crafting matured, artisans discovered that different types of apricorns could produce Pokeballs with distinct properties. The color and variety of each apricorn guided the function of the final product, leading to a diverse range of capturing devices tailored to specific needs. For example, moon balls, made from white apricorns, were designed to improve the odds of catching Pokémon that evolve using a moonstone, such as Nidorina or Clefairy. Their unique properties made them especially valued by trainers seeking out rare or nocturnal species. Fast balls, crafted from white apricorns, were designed to offer an advantage when pursuing Pokémon known for their speed or tendency to flee. The subtle differences in crafting technique and treatment of the apricorn allowed these Pokéballs to perform better in particular scenarios. Artisans experimented further, discovering that black apricorns could be crafted into heavy balls. These were favored for their increased effectiveness on large, heavy Pokémon, making them a practical choice for trainers encountering formidable opponents. Blue apricorns gave rise to the lure ball, which was designed to be especially useful for capturing Pokémon encountered while fishing. The design of the lure ball took into account the conditions of water encounters, enhancing a trainer's ability to connect with aquatic Pokémon. Green apricorns, on the other hand, were transformed into friend balls. These Pokéballs were notable for the way they encouraged captured Pokémon to develop a stronger bond with their trainer from the outset. This feature reflected a growing understanding of the importance of friendship and trust in the partnership between humans and Pokémon. Each apricorn-based Pokéball represented a solution to a particular challenge faced by trainers. The Moon Ball addressed the needs of those seeking Pokémon, tied to lunar cycles or evolution stones. The Fast Ball catered to the pursuit of elusive, quick-moving creatures. Heavy balls provided an edge in encounters where strength and size played a role. Lure balls adapted to the environment of fishing, while friend balls fostered immediate goodwill. These variations reflected more than trial and error. Each one represented a thoughtful response to the evolving relationship between humans and Pokémon, shaped by careful observation of the natural world. Artisans paid close attention to the natural world, observing the behaviors and habitats of different species, and adjusting their craft accordingly. The variety of Apricorn Poké Balls also encouraged trainers to develop new strategies and approaches. Instead of relying on a single tool for every situation, trainers began to select their Poké Balls based on the characteristics of the Pokémon they hoped to encounter. This shift allowed for greater flexibility and creativity, as trainers learned to match their equipment to their goals. The diversity of Apricorn-based Poké Balls became a reflection of the broader diversity found in the Pokémon world itself. Each type carried with it the legacy of the artisan who crafted it, as well as the knowledge passed down through generations. The hands-on nature of Apricorn crafting fostered a sense of connection between the artisan, the trainer, and the Pokémon. Every Pokéball was the product of careful work, patience, and the willingness to experiment. Workshops like Kurtz in Azalea Town became centers of learning and tradition, where the skills of Apricorn transformation were both preserved and advanced. The gradual refinement of techniques over time led to Pokéballs that not only functioned more reliably, but also carried a sense of identity and pride for those who used them. The art of Apricorn crafting stood at the intersection of nature and human creativity, shaped equally by the properties of the fruit and the ingenuity of those who worked with it. The process drew upon the unique properties of each Apricorn, the skill of the artisan, and the needs of the trainer. The resulting Pokéballs, whether designed for speed, strength, friendship, or special encounters, reflected a deepening understanding of the Pokémon world and the possibilities it offered. As the tradition of Apricorn craft continued, it laid the groundwork for further innovations, shaping the tools and techniques that would define future generations of trainers. Chapter 3: The Transition to Technology. The moment a trainer stepped beyond the familiar forests of Johto, the limits of what fit neatly in a pocket became impossible to ignore. These devices, shaped by tradition and the skill of artisans, carried the marks of their natural origins. Their shells, once living parts of Johto's trees, offered a sturdy vessel, but their effectiveness was closely tied to the availability of apricorns in a trainer's region. As trainers began to explore new territories and encounter a wider variety of Pokémon, the practical limitations of these tools became more apparent. Some Apricorn Pokéballs performed well only under certain conditions, such as targeting Pokémon that were especially heavy or quick to flee, while others worked best during specific encounters, like fishing or using evolutionary stones. This specialization, while innovative, meant that no single device provided a consistent solution for every challenge a trainer might face. As the world of Pokémon expanded, so did the range of environments and species that trainers encountered. The diversity of Pokémon traits, behaviors, and habitats introduced new obstacles that the existing Apricorn Pokéballs could not always address. Trainers found themselves needing more adaptable equipment, especially when traveling far from traditional Apricorn sources. The reliance on natural materials, once a practical strength, began to create gaps in supply and constrain trainers' ability to respond to unexpected situations. The growing complexity of Pokémon encounters spurred a sense of anticipation among trainers and inventors alike. There was a clear demand for capturing devices that could offer greater durability, reliable function across different regions, and versatility in the face of evolving challenges. Within this atmosphere of curiosity and necessity, scientific minds began to search for new ways to improve upon the established designs. Early breakthroughs emerged from the careful study of existing Poké Balls and the behaviors of Pokémon themselves. Inventors and researchers, inspired by both tradition and progress, experimented with alternative materials and mechanical innovations. The anime offers glimpses of this period of experimentation. In Pokémon Forever, Celebi, the voice of the forest, a Poké Ball from the past is depicted with a twist-top activation mechanism, its more mechanical form, signaling a gradual shift in design. These early mechanical variants retained echoes of the original Apricorn models, but introduced features that hinted at more advanced internal workings. The transition from natural to synthetic materials marked a pivotal change in Pokéball construction. Generation 3 introduced several new Pokéball types that did not rely on Apricorns for their creation, among them designs tailored for specific environments and Pokémon types. This development pointed to the adoption of engineered components, allowing for more complex internal mechanisms and broader distribution. The refinement of these technologies did not occur overnight. Various episodes and pieces of lore suggest that inventors drew on accumulated knowledge over time, gradually improving the consistency and functionality of Pokéballs. These advancements addressed many of the old limitations, providing trainers with capturing devices that could withstand greater wear, function reliably in diverse settings, and support a range of new strategies. Notable inventors and researchers emerged as key figures during this period. Their contributions, documented across anime episodes and game lore, shaped the tools that would define trainer experience for generations. By introducing new materials and mechanical systems, they enabled Pokéballs to perform more predictably and to be tailored for specialized tasks beyond the reach of Apricorn craftsmanship. The excitement of progress was felt both in laboratories and in the field, as trainers began to adopt these enhanced devices with a mixture of hope and curiosity. With the arrival of technological Pokéballs, the daily lives of trainers began to change in subtle but meaningful ways. The standardized design and function of these new devices made them easier to use, reducing the need for specialized knowledge or local resources. Trainers could now select from a growing assortment of Pokéballs, each designed for a specific situation or environment. Scenes from early anime episodes and game moments capture the sense of possibility that came with this expanded toolkit. Strategies evolved as trainers matched their choice of Pokéball to the traits of the Pokémon they sought, whether it was adapting to cave-dwelling species, aquatic environments, or elusive targets. The ability to choose from multiple Pokéball types gave trainers a new sense of agency. Generation 4, for example, made a wide range of Pokéball types available, drawing on designs from prior generations and introducing several new ones. This variety allowed for more strategic planning before setting out on a journey. Trainers began to experiment with combinations of tools, developing approaches that suited their personal style and the challenges of each region. The sense of empowerment that came with these innovations was balanced by an initial period of adjustment. Some trainers approached the new technology with skepticism, holding on to the familiarity of handcrafted devices, while others embraced the possibilities offered by science and engineering. As trainers grew accustomed to the reliability and convenience of technological Pokéballs, their relationship with the act of capturing Pokémon evolved. The standardization of throwing mechanics and internal features made the process more consistent, reducing the uncertainties that once accompanied handcrafted designs. This shift did not erase the memory of earlier traditions, but it did mark the beginning of a new era in trainer experience. The expanding world of Pokémon, with its growing complexity and diversity, now met a set of tools designed to keep pace with every new discovery. The transition from Apricorn craftsmanship to technological Pokéballs set in motion a period of rapid change. The innovations of inventors and researchers paved the way for even greater possibilities, hinting at a future where the boundaries of capture and companionship would continue to expand. With each new device, trainers found themselves better equipped to explore, adapt, and connect with the Pokémon world in ways their predecessors could only imagine. Chapter 4: The Industrial Revolution of Poké Balls. Factories do not care about tradition. When mechanized production began to reshape Pokéball manufacturing, the careful personal craft of individual artisans gave way to assembly lines, standardized components, and a pace of output that no single workshop could match. Factories began to replace the small workshops where individual artisans once shaped each Pokéball by hand. Mechanized processes and assembly lines made it possible to produce Pokéballs at a much larger scale. The use of machines brought a new consistency to the devices, as each unit followed precise specifications, instead of relying on the variable touch of a craftsman. Materials shifted from the natural Apricorn shells of earlier generations to manufactured components, which could be sourced and shaped in bulk. This transition was not just about speed. It also enabled new designs that were stronger and more reliable than the fragile, mechanical Pokéballs shown in the past, such as the top button variant used by a young Samor Oak. These new industrial settings hummed with energy and transformation. Workers overseeing rows of machines as the steady rhythm of production replaced the quiet focus of individual craftsmanship. Scenes in the anime and movies that depict bustling factories or warehouses help capture this sense of progress, as crates of Pokéballs move along conveyor belts and workers inspect finished products. With standardization came predictability, and trainers could generally expect their Pokéballs to function consistently, regardless of where they were made or purchased. As mass production took hold, the market for Pokéballs began to change rapidly. The introduction of new Pokéball types in Generation 3, largely moving away from Apricorn-based crafting, signaled a broader shift toward industrially produced, purpose-built designs. These new varieties were designed for specific situations, like capturing Pokémon in certain locations or at particular times of day. The expansion of Pokéball types in Generation 4, alongside the reintroduction of earlier models, highlighted how manufacturers were able to respond quickly to the needs of trainers. The consistent appearance and functionality of these devices made them more approachable and easier to use than the older custom-made versions. Factories could produce thousands of Pokéballs in a day, each one meeting the same standards for size, weight, and performance. As a result, Pokéballs became more affordable, and their availability increased dramatically. The industrial era brought about a new age of innovation, where the focus shifted from the artistry of individual makers to the efficiency and creativity of large-scale production. During this period, several companies emerged as leaders in the Pokéball manufacturing industry. Kurt remained known for his handcrafted Apricorn Pokéballs, a craft that stood in sharp contrast to the scale and speed of what factories were now achieving. His legacy was reflected in the continued reverence for these unique devices, but the scale of his operation could not match the demands of a growing trainer population. The Sport Ball, introduced alongside Kurt's creations, stood apart as a non-Apricorn device used exclusively in the bug-catching contest. This signaled the arrival of industrially produced Pokéballs that could be distributed widely for special events or purposes. Among the most prominent manufacturers was Silph Co., whose name became synonymous with innovation and reliability. Silph Co. emerged as one of the most prominent manufacturers, becoming synonymous with innovation and reliability, ensuring that trainers everywhere could access high-quality devices for capturing Pokémon. Their branding appeared throughout the games, with recognizable logos and consistent packaging that reinforced the company's reputation. Competition among manufacturers led to a rapid diversification of Pokéball types. The industrial era saw the creation of specialized devices that could increase catch rates under specific conditions. For example, some Pokéballs were engineered to work best at night, in water, or during particular battle scenarios. This approach moved away from the uniform catch rate boosts of earlier generations, offering trainers more strategic options. Those Hisuian wooden variants, with their blend of traditional craftsmanship and emerging industrial technique, now look like early prototypes of what these factories were achieving at scale. As factories grew, so did the importance of marketing and branding. Companies developed distinctive packaging and promotional materials to help their products stand out. Logos became a familiar sight in Pokémarts and across regions, signaling to trainers that they were purchasing reliable, standardized devices. The industry's growth fueled a cycle of innovation, with each company striving to offer new features and improved performance. The broader impact of industrial changes was felt throughout the Pokémon world. The mass production of Poké Balls made them accessible to a much wider audience. Trainers from all backgrounds, not just those with access to local artisans, could now obtain the tools needed for their journeys. This increased accessibility is reflected in the games and anime, where Poké Balls are depicted as everyday items available in shops and used by trainers of every age and profession. The shift is also visible in the artwork of various Pokémon games, where different trainer classes are occasionally shown with slight variations in their Pokéballs. This suggests a world where multiple styles coexist, yet standardized designs dominate. The standardization of battles across generations, with trainers relying on familiar Pokéball types, underscores the widespread adoption of industrially produced devices. As Pokéballs became more affordable and varied, the culture of Pokémon training began to evolve. Trainers could now collect and use multiple types of Pokéballs, selecting the best tool for each situation. Specialized devices expanded the possibilities for adventure and exploration, allowing trainers to pursue Pokémon in environments that had previously been difficult or inaccessible. Economic factors likely played a role as well, with the proliferation of affordable Pokéballs potentially supporting an increase in the number of trainers. Shops could stock larger inventories, and trainers were no longer limited by the scarcity or expense of handcrafted devices. The atmosphere of opportunity encouraged experimentation, as trainers tested new strategies and adapted to the changing landscape. Socially, the industrialization of Pokéball production contributed to a sense of transformation. Communities that once relied on a single artisan or a local tradition found themselves part of a larger interconnected world. The ability to acquire specialized Pokéballs allowed trainers to pursue new goals, participate in contests, and challenge tougher opponents. The visual presence of Pokéballs in daily life became a symbol of progress. Scenes in the anime that show bustling Pokémarts or busy trainer gatherings capture the excitement and energy of this era. Trainers could now share experiences, trade advice, and develop new customs around the use of Pokéballs, all supported by the steady supply from manufacturers. The Industrial Revolution of Pokéballs set the stage for continued change in the years that followed. With factories producing reliable, specialized devices at an unprecedented scale, trainers gained access to a wider range of tools and opportunities. The world of Pokémon training became more dynamic and inclusive as barriers to entry faded. What this era built in factories and assembly lines would quietly shape the culture of training for generations, setting expectations that the next wave of designers would have to meet and then surpass. Chapter 5: Standard Designs, the Poké Ball and beyond. Before there were Great Balls, Ultra Balls, or any of the specialized tools that would follow, there was one device every trainer knew by sight and by feel. The standard Poké Ball did not announce itself with complexity or novelty. It simply worked, and in doing so, it became the template for everything that came after. This visual became the template for all later Poké Balls, both in official artwork and throughout game generations. Early in the Pokémon world's history, this device marked a turning point. Trainers transitioning from handcrafted methods found the Poké Ball's mechanism simple yet reliable. The essential function, containing and securing wild Pokémon, remained unchanged even as technology improved. Within the broader lore, the standard Poké Ball is widely regarded as the foundational design, with most future versions building upon its established template. In the anime, subtle references to Poké Ball-like objects in historical settings, such as the staff carried by Sir Aaron in Lucario, and the mystery of Mew, suggest the design's roots stretch back through the ages, reinforcing the sense of continuity across eras. When Pokémon Red and Blue introduced this device to players, the Game Boy's monochrome screen depicted all Pokéballs with the same sprite and animation. Whether a trainer used a standard Pokéball or another variety, the throwing motion and the subsequent shaking during capture attempts looked identical. This uniformity carried into battles, where the distinction between ball types was a matter of function rather than form. Despite the graphical limitations, the standard Pokéball's role was clear. It was the tool every trainer received and relied upon, setting the tone for the journey ahead. In early anime episodes, trainers are often seen tossing these familiar red and white spheres, emphasizing their ubiquity and importance. The straightforward operation of pressing the button to enlarge the ball and throwing it to attempt to capture became a ritual woven into the everyday fabric of Pokémon training. The introduction of the Poké Ball changed how trainers approached the world. Capturing Pokémon became more accessible, and the act itself was standardized. Trainers could now reliably attempt to secure Pokémon encountered in the wild, knowing the device would function as expected. This reliability contributed to the Poké Ball's quick adoption. Trainers valued the simplicity and the sense of control it offered, especially compared to older, less predictable methods. The Poké Balls soon became essential equipment, carried by trainers of all backgrounds. Its image appeared in guidebooks and on signage, and it could be found in the hands of novice and expert trainer alike. The original design's balance of function and approachability set a precedent that would guide further innovations. As trainers grew more ambitious and encountered tougher challenges, the need for a more effective capturing tool became apparent. The Great Ball emerged to fill this gap, offering a noticeable improvement in catch capability. Trainers found that while the standard Poké Ball worked well for common or lower-level Pokémon, certain encounters demanded better odds. The Great Ball addressed these limitations by providing a higher success rate, especially when Pokémon resisted basic capture attempts, but did not yet require the most advanced tools. Its design distinguished it from the standard version. In later generations, the Great Ball featured a blue body accented by red and white highlights, making it easy to recognize both in artwork and in-game. Technological advances in the Game Boy Color era allowed for greater visual distinction between Poké Ball types. In Generation 2, players could see the Great Ball's unique color palette during gameplay, a marked improvement from the monochrome graphics of earlier titles. This enhancement made it easier for trainers to track which ball type they were using in the heat of battle. In the mainline games, Great Balls became available in mid-game locations, reflecting their intended role as an upgrade for trainers who had progressed beyond the initial stages of their journey. The cost difference also influenced decision-making. Great Balls typically sold for 600 Pokédollars, 3 times the price of standard Pokéballs, which are generally priced at 200 Pokédollars. This price reflected their improved performance, but also required trainers to weigh the benefits against their available resources. Trainers often reserved Great Balls for situations where the stakes were higher. Facing a rare Pokémon, or one with a low catch rate, many chose to invest in the improved odds offered by the Great Ball. However, the higher cost meant they were less likely to use them for routine captures. The Great Ball's place in the trainer's toolkit became one of balance, effective enough to handle mid-level challenges, but not so costly as to be prohibitive for regular use. Its introduction encouraged a more strategic approach, prompting trainers to consider which devices to carry and when to deploy them. The design modifications, both visual and functional, help build a sense of progression as trainers advance through the game and the world around them. For those who pursued the most elusive or powerful Pokémon, the Ultra Ball represented a further leap in effectiveness. This device featured a predominantly black body, accented with yellow bands and white highlights, setting it apart visually from both the standard Poké Ball and the Great Ball. In most mainline games, the Ultra Ball offered a 2x catch rate modifier compared to the Great Ball, and roughly 2.5 times that of the standard Poké Ball, making it significantly more effective in difficult scenarios. Trainers found that the Ultra Ball excelled during late-game encounters, especially when facing high-level Final Evolution or rare Pokémon. The enhanced performance kept risk lower, helping to avoid failed captures that could result in missed opportunities or wasted effort. The decision to use an Ultra Ball was shaped by both strategic and economic considerations. With a typical price of 1,200 Pokédollars in many mainline entries, Ultra Balls cost twice as much as Great Balls and 6 times more than standard Pokéballs, though exact pricing has varied across different games and regions. This higher cost meant that trainers needed to plan ahead, often saving Ultra Balls for key moments rather than using them indiscriminately. The improved capture rate provided peace of mind during tense or important encounters, but the investment was not trivial. Trainers weighed the trade-offs, choosing between the affordability and availability of Great Balls for most situations, and the reliability of Ultra Balls for the toughest challenges. The Ultra Ball's introduction marked a new level of sophistication in capture technology. Trainers had to consider not only the strength and rarity of the Pokémon they faced, but also their own resources and priorities. The visual cues provided by the Ultra Ball's unique design reinforced its role as an advanced tool, signaling to both trainer and opponent that a significant effort was being made. As with previous Poké Balls, the Ultra Ball's performance was depicted consistently across official artwork, anime episodes, and in-game mechanics, creating a unified experience for those who aspired to become experts in the art of Pokémon capture. The progression from standard Poké Ball to Great Ball and finally to Ultra Ball illustrates the ongoing refinement of trainer tools. Each design addressed the needs of its era, reflecting both technological advances and the evolving expectations of trainers. As new challenges arose, the world of Pokémon responded with devices that offered better odds, clearer distinctions, and greater strategic depth. These choices became part of the journey, shaping their stories and their connection to the Pokémon they encountered. This steady evolution in capture technology set the stage for even more specialized Poké Balls, each designed to meet unique needs and scenarios within the expanding world of Pokémon. Chapter 6: Specialized Poké Balls, Meeting Specific Needs. As the world of Pokémon expanded, trainers and researchers began to encounter situations where the standard Pokéball, and even its more advanced counterparts like the Great Ball and Ultra Ball, struggled to meet every challenge. The environments grew more diverse, and the Pokémon themselves adapted to habitats that tested the limits of traditional capturing tools. In the coastal waters and submerged caves of Hoenn, for example, trainers found themselves diving beneath the surface, seeking out Pokémon that thrived in deep aquatic realms. These underwater expeditions revealed a pressing need for capturing devices that could function reliably in such unique conditions. Standard Poké Balls, designed for general use on land, often proved less effective when faced with the distinct behaviors and habitats of water-based species. This gap prompted a wave of innovation, as the community recognized that no single device could address every scenario. The result was a new generation of Poké Balls, each crafted with a specific purpose in mind. The shift marked a turning point, moving beyond general-purpose tools towards solutions tailored to the demands of particular environments and Pokémon behaviors. Among these new designs, the dive ball and net ball stood out as the most immediately practical responses to the terrain of Hoenn, each purpose-built for environments that standard tools could not reliably handle. The dive ball, introduced in Pokémon Ruby and Sapphire, was created specifically for encounters that took place while the player was submerged underwater. Its blue design, reminiscent of the ocean, set it apart visually from the familiar red and white of the standard Poké Ball. The dive ball's effectiveness became most apparent in areas such as Routes 124 and 126, where trainers explored underwater regions in search of elusive aquatic Pokémon. When used in these settings, the dive ball offered a significantly improved chance of success, making it the preferred choice for those delving beneath the waves. This specialized function was not simply a matter of appearance. It represented a thoughtful adaptation to the environment, ensuring that trainers could meet the challenges of underwater exploration with confidence. The net ball, also introduced in Pokémon Ruby and Sapphire, addressed a different set of needs. Its green and blue design reflected its focus on water-type and bug-type Pokémon, two groups that often appeared in habitats where traditional Pokéballs fell short. Trainers exploring routes with tall grass, especially those known for frequent bug-type encounters, found the net ball to be a valuable asset. Its design and function were carefully matched to these scenarios, offering increased effectiveness and reducing the uncertainty that sometimes accompanied wild encounters. In the Hoenn region, both dive balls and net balls could be purchased from Pokemarts, with dive balls also available at the Moss Deep City shop. These purchase points were placed near the environments where the balls excelled, encouraging trainers to stock up before venturing into underwater caves or bug-filled routes. These opportunities encouraged trainers to seek out the right tool for each environment, reinforcing the importance of preparation and adaptability. The introduction of specialized Pokéballs like the dive ball and net ball brought a new layer of strategy to the experience of capturing Pokémon. Trainers were now encouraged to plan their journeys with greater care, considering not just which Pokémon they might encounter, but also where and how those encounters would take place. The choice of Pokéball became a reflection of the terrain and the habits of the target species. In diving spots or bug-infested areas, selecting the appropriate ball often meant the difference between a successful capture and a missed opportunity. This shift in approach allowed trainers to manage their resources more efficiently, reserving their strongest general-purpose balls for encounters where no specialized option was available. It also influenced team building, as trainers weighed the likelihood of facing certain types or environments and adjusted their inventories accordingly. These changes led to a more satisfying and nuanced experience. The act of using the right Pokéball for the right situation offered a sense of mastery and accomplishment, rewarding those who paid attention to the details of their surroundings. The availability of tools like the dive ball and net ball transformed wild encounters from simple tests of luck into opportunities for thoughtful decision-making. Trainers who took the time to understand the strengths and limitations of each Pokéball found themselves better equipped to handle the diverse challenges of the Pokémon world. This strategic depth, introduced through the careful design of specialized Pokéballs, became an integral part of the journey, shaping the way trainers approached both familiar and unfamiliar terrain. As the variety of Pokéballs continued to grow, so did the possibilities for creative and effective capture strategies. The innovations of Generation 3 set the stage for even more specialized tools, each designed to address the evolving needs of trainers and the ever-changing landscapes they explored. The influence of these devices extended beyond individual encounters, affecting the broader patterns of play and the choices trainers made throughout their adventures. With each new Pokéball, the world of Pokémon became a little more complex, a little more engaging, and a little more attuned to the challenges that awaited. The next chapter, delves deeper into how these specialized Poké Balls have shaped both competitive and casual approaches to capturing Pokémon, revealing the lasting impact of innovation and adaptation in the pursuit of mastery. Chapter 7: Luxury and Aesthetic, the Premier Ball. Before a trainer even makes a move, the Poké Ball in their hand says something. And few say it quite as quietly or as deliberately as the Premier Ball. Its surface is a clean glossy white, accented by a single red band that circles the middle. This minimalistic design sets it apart from the familiar red and white or blue and white patterns of standard Poké Balls, creating a sense of modern elegance. The absence of extra markings or complex color schemes gives the Premier Ball a distinct, almost ceremonial presence. Trainers often receive a Premier Ball as a special bonus when purchasing 10 or more Poké Balls at once, at Pokémarts in certain games, a small gesture that enhances its sense of rarity. Official merchandise and artwork highlight the striking contrast between the Premier Ball and its counterparts, emphasizing the way it captures light and stands out in a collection. Because it is not available for direct purchase in most stores, the Premier Ball carries an air of exclusivity that appeals to collectors and those who value unique items. Its pristine aesthetic, paired with its limited availability, has helped establish the Premier Ball as a symbol of luxury within the world of Pokémon. The origins of the Premier Ball tie closely to its presentation as a celebratory item. Unlike other Pokeballs designed for specific capture situations, the Premier Ball was introduced to mark special occasions and milestones, both in the games and in promotional materials. Its unique design was intended to convey a sense of occasion and honor, rather than practical advantage. This association with special moments has contributed to its reputation as a luxury item. Trainers who possess a Premier Ball often keep it as a prized possession, displaying it among their collections or reserving it for significant captures. Collectors value the Premier Ball not only for its appearance, but also for the story it represents, a memento of achievement or a symbol of thoughtful presentation. The sense of rarity is reinforced by its distribution method, as it is typically not stocked in large quantities and is seldom seen in everyday use. As a result, the Premier Ball has become an object of admiration, its design choices reflecting an intentional pursuit of beauty and exclusivity. Within trainer culture, the Premier Ball has taken on a deeper meaning beyond its visual appeal. It is often seen as a marker of status and personal style, chosen by trainers who wish to distinguish themselves from the crowd. In the Pokémon anime, the Premier Ball occasionally appears in the hands of trainers for whom presentation and style are a priority, though its on-screen appearances are relatively rare. Game dialogue occasionally references the Premier Ball's appealing design, and its distribution as a bonus item implies an association with a sense of occasion, even if extended thematic framing is left largely to the player. For many, the choice of Poké Ball is not just about function, but also about what it communicates to others. Selecting a Premier Ball can signal an appreciation for subtlety, refinement, or a desire to stand out through understated luxury. In this way, the Premier Ball becomes an extension of a trainer's identity, reflecting their values and aspirations. The cultural weight it carries is evident in how it is discussed among fans and depicted in official media, where its use is often associated with moments of pride or distinction. The symbolism of the Premier Ball extends to prestigious events and settings, where trainers seek to make an impression. Its reputation as a luxury item means it is frequently chosen by trainers who place importance on aesthetics and personal branding. In contests and exhibitions, the Premier Ball's clean design can enhance the overall presentation, drawing attention to both the trainer and their Pokémon. Trainers who wish to project an image of elegance or exclusivity may select the Premier Ball specifically for these occasions, using it to complement their outfit or the theme of their performance. This association with high standards and careful curation has solidified its place as a preferred option for those who see Pokémon training as an art form as much as a competition. In Pokémon contests, the visual impact of the Poké Ball plays a notable role in shaping the audience's perception. The Premier Ball's striking white sheen and simple red accent can elevate the entrance of a Pokémon, creating a memorable opening moment. Anime contest scenes often highlight the way a well-chosen Poké Ball can enhance a routine, contributing to the overall narrative of style and coordination. Trainers may select the Premier Ball to match a Pokémon's color palette, or to add a touch of sophistication to their performance. In contest-focused narratives, the choice of Poké Ball can itself become part of the performance, and a Premier Ball's clean aesthetic may read to an audience as a deliberate, considered selection. This emphasis on aesthetics encourages trainers to consider not only the skills of their Pokémon, but also the visual presentation of each performance. The influence of the Premier Ball has contributed to a broader trend among trainers, where the choice of Poké Ball is carefully matched to the appearance or contest strategy of the Pokémon. Some trainers seek out Poké Balls that harmonize with a Pokémon's coloration, while others look for options that reinforce the mood or concept of their routine. The Premier Ball's neutral yet refined design makes it a versatile choice for many different contest themes, supporting both dramatic and subtle presentations. Trainers who prioritize visual harmony often find that the Premier Ball complements a wide range of styles, offering a balance between simplicity and distinction. This attention to Poké Ball aesthetics is reflected in the growing diversity of contest performances and the increasing focus on individual expression. The Premier Ball's ongoing popularity demonstrates the value trainers place on presentation, both as a form of personal expression and as a way to enhance competitive routines. Its presence in official artwork and contest scenes has the potential to encourage trainers to experiment with new combinations and to notice the artistry involved in even the smallest details. Through its unique design and cultural associations, the Premier Ball has secured a lasting place in the world of Pokémon, representing the intersection of luxury, style, and thoughtful presentation. Chapter 8: Technological Marvel, the Master Ball. The Master Ball stands as a testament to the heights of scientific ambition in the Pokémon world. Its story begins within the bustling laboratories of Silph Co., a company already recognized for pushing the boundaries of Poké Ball technology. During a period marked by rapid advancement, researchers at Silph Co. set out to achieve what many believed impossible: a Poké Ball with capabilities far beyond anything seen before. The development of the Master Ball required not only technical expertise, but also a willingness to challenge assumptions about what Poké Balls could do. Engineers and scientists worked side by side, drawing on data from years of field research, advances in energy manipulation, and breakthroughs in containment theory. The process was not without setbacks. Early prototypes failed to meet the ambitious standards set by the company, sometimes faltering under the immense pressure of containing especially powerful Pokémon. Yet the determination of those involved never wavered. Each obstacle became an opportunity to refine the design and push the technology further. The result was a device that reflected both the ingenuity and perseverance of its creators, a Poké Ball unlike any that had come before. Visually, the Master Ball is immediately recognizable. Its purple top half, adorned with a bold white letter M on the front and pink circles on either side, sets it apart from other Poké Ball designs. Yet its appearance is only the beginning of what makes it extraordinary. The defining feature of the Master Ball is its guaranteed capture mechanism, ensuring that any wild Pokémon it is thrown at cannot escape. This certainty is not merely a step forward. It is a leap that redefines the boundaries of what trainers can expect from their tools. In anime episodes and official guides, the Master Ball's effect is often discussed with a sense of wonder. Trainers speak of it as the ultimate tool, a device with the power to secure even the most elusive Pokémon in a single decisive moment. The mechanism itself is rarely detailed in official public materials, which only adds to its mystique. What is clear, however, is that the Master Ball's ability to guarantee a capture is unique. No other Pokéball in the standard lineup, regardless of its design or intended use, offers this level of reliability. This feature elevates the Master Ball to a status reserved for only the most advanced technologies in the Pokémon universe. The certainty provided by the Master Ball's mechanism carries significant strategic weight. In the core series games, Poké Balls, including the Master Ball, are used in encounters with wild Pokémon and cannot be used against Pokémon owned by other trainers. This restriction preserves a sense of fairness and balance, but it also means that the decision of when to use the Master Ball is never taken lightly. Its absolute reliability makes it the most valuable resource a trainer can possess when facing powerful or rare Pokémon. Yet this power is balanced by scarcity. In most official mainline games, trainers receive only one Master Ball per adventure, though certain titles have offered additional ways to obtain one through in-game lotteries or special events. This rarity is reinforced in anime narratives as well, where the Master Ball is often portrayed as a legendary artifact, sought after and respected by both trainers and researchers. The knowledge that only a single opportunity exists to use the Master Ball heightens the sense of responsibility and deliberation that accompanies its possession. The tension surrounding the use of the Master Ball shapes the choices trainers make throughout their journeys. With only one available, trainers often save it for the most challenging encounters, holding back in hopes of meeting a truly exceptional Pokémon. In anime scenes and guidebook commentary, moments of decision are depicted with quiet gravity. The act of selecting a target for the Master Ball becomes a defining moment, one that can mark the culmination of hours or even years of exploration and preparation. The prestige of owning a Master Ball is matched only by the significance of choosing when to deploy it. Trainers are encouraged to weigh their options carefully, considering not only the immediate benefits, but also the long-term impact on their journey and reputation. The rarity and guaranteed effect of the Master Ball have shaped the strategic landscape of the Pokémon world. Trainers discuss potential uses in hushed tones, comparing notes and sharing stories of legendary captures. The Master Ball's presence in a trainer's inventory can influence planning, encouraging patience and thoughtful risk assessment. Its existence has become a benchmark for what technology can achieve, setting a new standard for future innovations. As the ultimate expression of Pokéball engineering, the Master Ball continues to inspire both admiration and careful strategy, leaving a lasting imprint on the world of Pokémon and its ongoing pursuit of mastery. Chapter 9: Ecological Considerations. Friend and Heal Balls. Not every Pokéball is built around the challenge of capture. The Friend Ball turns the moment of catching a Pokémon into something closer to an introduction, prioritizing the emotional connection that forms between trainer and Pokémon from the very first instant. Introduced in the Johto region, the Friend Ball was designed to set a newly caught Pokémon's friendship level to 200 at the very moment of capture. This high starting point for friendship is unusual in the context of most Pokéballs, which typically leave the bond to develop more gradually over time. The result is an immediate sense of trust and comfort for the Pokémon, reducing the stress that can come with sudden changes in environment. In the games, this effect is not only mechanical but also symbolic, representing a shift in how trainers are encouraged to think about their role. Rather than seeing capture as a mere transaction or test of strength, the Friend Ball invites trainers to consider the emotional well-being of each Pokémon from the very beginning. Scenes in the anime and mainline games reinforce the Friend Ball's nurturing qualities. When a Pokémon is caught with this device, its response often reflects a sense of calm and acceptance, even after a challenging battle. Trainers who use the friend ball sometimes find their new partners more eager to interact, displaying signs of playfulness or affection that would ordinarily take much longer to develop. This early boost in trust can influence a Pokémon's behavior in subtle ways, such as enduring an attack that would otherwise cause fainting, or occasionally landing a critical hit out of loyalty. These moments, while rooted in game mechanics, echo a larger theme of partnership and mutual care. The intention behind the friend ball's design is to provide a foundation for a positive relationship, encouraging trainers to nurture not just the strength of their teams, but also the happiness of each Pokémon. The creation of the friend ball marks an important turning point in the philosophy of Pokémon care. Earlier Poké Balls focused on the practical aspects of containment and success rates. The friend ball, by contrast, is a clear statement about the value of empathy and companionship. Its green shell and distinctive design are meant to signal this difference, reminding trainers that a meaningful bond is rarely measured by power alone. As the world of Pokémon continued to evolve, the friend ball helped set new expectations for what it means to be a responsible and caring trainer. The heal ball introduces another dimension to Pokémon welfare by addressing the physical condition of a newly caught Pokémon. Unlike traditional Poké Balls, the heal ball is designed to fully restore a Pokémon's health points and cure any status conditions immediately upon capture. This effect is visible in both gameplay and official artwork, where the heal ball's pink and white color scheme often appears alongside imagery of comfort and recovery. The moment a Pokémon is caught in a heal ball, it emerges restored, with no lingering injuries or ailments from the battle that preceded its capture. This instant healing reflects a commitment to ensuring that Pokémon start their journey with a trainer in optimal condition. Game mechanics reinforce the heal ball's focus on compassionate care. Trainers who use this Poké Ball are able to welcome new team members without delay or concern for their well-being. The heal ball's restorative effect means that a Pokémon is ready to participate, travel, or bond without the risk of exhaustion or lingering effects from status conditions like paralysis or poisoning. In anime scenes, the heal ball is sometimes shown as a thoughtful choice for trainers who encounter weakened or distressed Pokémon, adding an extra layer of kindness to the act of capture. The design of the heal ball encourages trainers to consider not just the challenge of catching a Pokémon, but also the responsibility that comes immediately after. This approach to Pokémon care signals a shift in the expectations placed on trainers. The heal ball's existence suggests that recovery and comfort should be prioritized alongside strategy and efficiency. The choice to use a heal ball can be seen as a gesture of respect, acknowledging the effort and bravery of a Pokémon during an encounter. By ensuring that a new partner is healthy and comfortable from the outset, the heal ball helps foster a positive and ethical relationship between trainer and Pokémon. The development of the friend ball and heal ball was shaped by growing awareness of environmental. As trainers and researchers learned more about the needs and experiences of Pokémon, the demand for tools that supported emotional and physical well-being increased. Official resources highlight these Poké Balls as innovations that set themselves apart from standard designs, not through improved capture rates, but by focusing on the welfare of the Pokémon involved. This reflects a broader trend towards sustainability and compassion in training practices. In-game lore and official materials suggest that the design of the friend ball and heal ball was intended to encourage more responsible and attentive trainer behavior. By integrating emotional bonding and immediate health recovery into the process of capture, these Poké Balls promote a culture of empathy. Trainers are reminded that each encounter is not just an opportunity to expand their team, but also a chance to demonstrate care and respect for the Pokémon they meet. Over time, this has led to a greater emphasis on ethical considerations in the design and use of training tools. The impact of these innovations is visible in the way trainers approach their responsibilities. The friend ball and heal ball encourage choices that prioritize well-being, setting a standard for future developments in Poké Ball technology. Their presence in the mainline games and official materials serves as a reminder that the relationship between trainer and Pokémon is built on trust, care, and mutual respect. As these values become more deeply integrated into the world of Pokémon, trainers find new ways to balance the pursuit of strength with the importance of empathy and stewardship. Chapter 10: The Modern Era: Technological Integration. A Poké Ball sitting on a trainer's belt today looks much like it did decades ago. But behind that familiar exterior, an entirely different world of connectivity and digital design has taken hold. Modern Pokéballs are now designed to work closely with smartphones and digital devices, giving trainers new ways to manage their Pokémon. Companies such as Silphco, Devon Corporation, and the Kalos Pokéball Factory manufacture these advanced Pokéballs, each contributing to the growth of digital features and convenience. The ability to link Pokéballs with a phone or tablet lets trainers organize their Pokémon remotely, check data, and even transfer information between devices without returning to a Pokémon Center. Some recent anime episodes depict trainers using digital tablets to register new captures, monitor Pokémon health, and access storage systems while traveling. This integration echoes broader trends in consumer technology, including the growing reliance on cloud storage and on-demand data access. Digital platforms now allow trainers to keep track of their teams, access move lists, and receive updates on their Pokémon's condition, whether they are at home or exploring. The process of training and organizing Pokémon has become more flexible, with real-time notifications and digital reminders supporting a more connected experience. On Pasio, some stories reveal that Pokémon from earlier eras sometimes react with uncertainty to these modern Pokéballs, hinting at how quickly technology has advanced and how it can shape the bond between trainer and Pokémon. Laboratories like the Aether Foundation's Paradise Labs also use digital systems to support research and conservation, with restricted areas dedicated to experimental projects that rely on this seamless integration of hardware and data. Digital enhancements have also transformed how trainers interact with their Pokémon. Augmented reality and virtual reality features are now part of many Pokéball systems, creating experiences that blend the real world with the digital. In recent games, trainers can use AR to view Pokémon in their own environment, positioning a captured Pokémon next to them or overlaying battle scenes on real-world spaces. Virtual reality features allow for deeper immersion, where trainers can enter digital spaces to train, battle, or simply observe their Pokémon up close. The breeding system in Generation 6 introduced tracking of Pokéball inheritance, ensuring that when a Pokémon is bred, it inherits the Pokéball of the mother, with the notable exception that Pokémon hatched in a Master Ball or Cherish Ball would always receive a standard Pokéball instead. Later, Generation 7 expanded this system, allowing offspring to inherit the Pokéball from the non-ditto parent, or, if both parents are the same species, to have an equal chance of inheriting either parent's Pokéball. These game mechanics rely on precise digital records, reflecting how technology now tracks even the smallest details of a trainer's journey. Promotional events and demonstrations often highlight these interactive features, inviting trainers to experience Pokémon training in new, visually rich ways. The result is a more engaging and personalized connection with each Pokémon, as trainers see and interact with their partners through a blend of physical and digital reality. The world of Pokémon becomes more accessible and dynamic, with each enhancement offering another layer of possibility for play and discovery. Looking ahead, the direction of Pokéball technology is shaped by ongoing trends in digital connectivity and user-focused design. New Pokéball types continue to emerge from research institutions and companies, each reflecting the latest advances in science and engineering. The Beast Ball, developed in response to the emergence of Ultra Beasts, stands out as a recent example of specialized design responding to unique capture challenges, offering a higher catch rate against Ultra Beasts while being notably less effective on regular Pokémon. Silphco's development of the Master Ball, considered the pinnacle of capture technology, demonstrates how competition and innovation drive progress. At the same time, individual trainers have more opportunities to craft custom Pokéballs using devices like Hyde's Cramomatic, which recalls the tradition of Apricorn crafting by Kurt in Johto. The Origin Ball similarly represents a singular form of capture technology, one that exists outside the boundaries of standard manufacturing entirely. Industry commentary and fan discussion suggest that future Pokéball designs may continue to draw inspiration from trends in gaming and mobile devices, with speculation centering on expanded connectivity, customization, and ease of use. User feedback and advances in hardware may influence which features become standard, as trainers seek more control, accessibility, and ways to express their own style. These developments present both opportunities and challenges, as the pace of change invites new forms of play, while requiring careful attention to balance, security, and the evolving relationship between trainer and Pokémon. The journey of Pokéball technology is shaped by the same spirit of curiosity and adaptation that has guided its history, with each new advancement reflecting a world that is always moving forward. Chapter 11: Cultural Impact. Pokéballs in Society. The image of the Pokéball has become deeply woven into popular culture, recognized by many fans and non-fans alike. In the Pokémon anime, the Pokéball is present in nearly every episode, often highlighted in scenes where trainers call forth their partners or recall them after a battle. Films and television specials routinely feature Pokéballs as central to key story moments, sometimes introducing older designs that predate the standard model familiar today. These glimpses into the past, such as the wooden variants from the Hisuian era or the mechanical top-button models encountered in classic films, reinforce the layered history already traced across earlier chapters, grounding the Pokémon world's cultural mythology in recognizable artifacts. Promotional materials, including posters, commercials, and event tie-ins, frequently use the Pokéball's simple silhouette to evoke the excitement and wonder of the Pokémon world. This repeated visual and narrative presence has given the Pokéball a status that extends well beyond its original function. Its round shape, divided by a bold line and accented with a central button, is now an instantly recognizable symbol. Even many of those who do not follow the animated series or films tend to associate this image with adventure, collection, and the bonds formed between trainers and Pokémon. The Pokéball's widespread use in media has made it a cultural reference point, often serving as shorthand for the broader themes of discovery and partnership that define Pokémon as a franchise. This broad recognition has inspired a range of artistic expressions. The Pokéball has become a popular motif in both official and fan-created works, appearing in many forms across the visual arts. Artists working with digital media, traditional painting, and sculpture often use the Pokéball's color palettes and designs as a foundation for their creations. The diversity of Pokéballs seen across generations, from the vivid red and white of the original to the more specialized patterns of later variants, provides a rich visual language. Public art installations sometimes feature large-scale Pokéball sculptures or murals, inviting viewers to interact with the symbol in new ways. In fan communities, creators produce custom Pokéball designs, blending personal style with established motifs. These artworks may reinterpret the Pokéball as jewelry, clothing, or even furniture, demonstrating its flexibility as a cultural icon. The motif's presence in street art and digital galleries further cements its role as an enduring source of inspiration. This ongoing engagement helps keep the Pokéball relevant, allowing it to adapt to new artistic trends while maintaining its core identity. Through these creative expressions, the Pokéball continues to bridge different artistic communities, connecting fans and artists around a shared symbol. Beyond visual art, The Poké Ball holds significant symbolic meaning for trainers, shaping both individual identity and a sense of community. In the games, trainer sprites from Generation 2 onward often display Pokéballs in colors that match their class or specialty, reinforcing the connection between a trainer's chosen role and the device they use. Different Pokéball variants, each with distinct visual features, allow trainers to express personal preference and style. The ability to pass down specific Pokéballs through breeding has led many players to associate particular designs with their own journey, turning these choices into markers of identity. Carrying or displaying a Pokéball can signal a trainer's achievements, such as capturing a rare Pokémon or mastering a difficult challenge. In real-world communities, Pokéballs are common elements in cosplay, themed gatherings, and merchandise, helping fans identify with one another and celebrate their shared interests. The motif is often used as a badge of honor, signifying both belonging and accomplishment within the Pokémon world. This shared symbolism helps foster unity, as trainers recognize each other through common visual cues and shared experiences. The Pokéball, once a simple tool, now serves as a powerful connector, shaping how trainers see themselves and how they relate to others. Through its evolving presence in media, art, and daily life, the Pokéball continues to define what it means to be part of the Pokémon community. Chapter 12: Challenges and Controversies. Not every trainer who reaches for a Pokéball pauses to consider what the act means. But across the history of the Pokémon world, a quieter conversation has run alongside the thrill of capture, one about freedom, responsibility, and what it truly means to form a partnership. From the earliest days of capture technology, questions have emerged about the morality of containing Pokémon within these devices. Scenes in the anime and movies often provide glimpses into the origins of these concerns. In select episodes and films, glimpses of ancient or unusual Pokéball artifacts remind viewers that the practice of capturing Pokémon stretches far back into history. The presence of these artifacts invites reflection on the long-standing implications of using such technology, even if direct discussion of its effects is absent in character dialogue. This quiet visual reminder sets the stage for later, more explicit explorations of ethical tension. Historical flashbacks in films further highlight the complexity of capture technology's legacy. In the movie Pokémon Forever, Celebi, the voice of the forest, an older-style Pokéball is used by a hunter in a scene set decades before the main story. The visual distinction between this device and modern Pokéballs draws attention to the evolving nature of capture methods. Here, the ethical focus shifts to the actions of poachers and the corrupting influence of power, rather than the simple act of mechanized capture. These portrayals suggest that the morality of using Pokéballs is often entangled with the intentions and behaviors of those who wield them. A pivotal moment in the movie Lucario and the Mystery of Mew deepens the discussion. Sir Aaron, a legendary hero, seals Lucario within his staff, using a mysterious confinement mechanism. The act of sealing Lucario away, regardless of the precise device used, carries clear echoes of the capture dynamic central to Pokéball use. This act is layered with emotional consequences, as Lucario initially perceives the confinement as a betrayal. The story later reveals the sacrifice behind Sir Aaron's decision, prompting viewers to consider whether such actions can be justified by necessity, loyalty, or the greater good. This narrative explores the emotional impact of capture, raising questions about freedom and the nature of partnership. Debates about the restriction of Pokémon freedom appear in various storylines, especially when trainers release their Pokémon. Ash's choices to let Butterfree and Pidgeot return to the wild are depicted as deeply personal, highlighting the complexity of the trainer-Pokémon relationship. These moments, though not framed as formal societal debates, reflect a broader awareness that the act of capture carries ethical weight. Over time, discussions about freedom, consent, and the responsibilities of trainers have become recurring themes, shaped by both philosophical inquiry and the evolving values of the Pokémon world. As these concerns gained attention, different approaches to Pokémon care began to emerge. Trainers like Richie, shown in the anime, model a style of partnership that prioritizes well-being. Richie is known for closely monitoring his Pokémon's condition and limiting their participation in battles when they are fatigued or injured. His methods are presented as examples of responsible training, emphasizing the importance of attending to Pokémon needs rather than seeking victory at any cost. This approach challenges traditional expectations and encourages others to consider the ethical implications of their choices. Alongside individual trainers, loosely organized groups and characters sometimes advocate for the release of captured Pokémon. These storylines, found in select episodes, promote the idea that Pokémon may be happier living in their natural habitats. While these perspectives are not always part of a unified movement with clear leadership, they represent a growing diversity of thought about the purpose and consequences of capture. In the games, similar opinions surface in the dialogue of non-player characters, who occasionally voice support for letting Pokémon live freely. These scattered viewpoints reveal that public opinion is far from unanimous, and that conversations about Pokémon rights span the entire community. Reactions to these movements vary widely. Some trainers, both in anime and in game scenes, defend the use of Poké Balls as essential tools for forming partnerships. They argue that these devices foster trust, enable cooperation, and allow for safe travel and training. Others sympathize with calls for change, acknowledging the emotional and psychological needs of Pokémon. The resulting dialogue is often marked by tension, with each perspective drawing on personal experience and ethical reasoning in ways that resist easy resolution. These divisions illustrate the challenge of reaching consensus on practices that have become central to the Pokémon world. Within advocacy, there is further complexity. Not all who question Poké Ball use share the same priorities or strategies. Some focus on promoting responsible training, while others call for more radical shifts toward release and natural living. The lack of a single unified doctrine leads to a landscape of debate rather than a coordinated campaign. This diversity of opinion can slow the spread of new ideas, but it also reflects the richness of the conversation and the willingness of individuals to consider multiple perspectives. The ongoing debates about Poké Ball use have begun to reshape the relationships between humans and Pokémon. Trainers are increasingly shown grappling with ethical dilemmas, especially when Pokémon resist returning to their balls or display distress during moments of release. These scenes highlight the emotional stakes involved in training, as well as the uncertainty that can arise when established norms are questioned. Some trainers adjust their behavior, choosing to keep Pokémon outside their balls more often, or to prioritize their wishes during decision-making. Narratives from the anime often use these dilemmas to illustrate growth and change. When trainers release Pokémon back into the wild, the act is usually motivated by the Pokémon's own needs or aspirations, rather than by external pressure. These moments demonstrate that partnership between trainer and Pokémon need not be static. As both parties grow, the meaning of their bond can deepen and shift in ways that neither could have anticipated at the outset. Historical stories, such as the bond between Sir Aaron and Lucario, serve as reminders of the foundational values that shaped ancient trainer-Pokémon relationships. Themes of sacrifice and trust are prominent, offering a lens through which to view present-day controversies. While these tales may not prescribe a single approach to capture or autonomy, they encourage ongoing reflection about the nature of companionship and the responsibilities it entails. As society's attitudes shift, community values continue to evolve. The expectation for responsible care grows stronger, and trainers are often portrayed seeking to balance their own goals with the well-being of their Pokémon. Voluntary companionship, as illustrated by the relationship between Ash and Pikachu, is increasingly framed as an ideal worth aspiring to. This model emphasizes choice and mutual respect, rather than obligation or control. The effects of these controversies are visible in the everyday decisions of trainers and the broader conversations that shape the Pokémon world. The dilemmas faced, the arguments exchanged, and the examples set by both individuals and groups contribute to a dynamic landscape of values and expectations. As debates continue, the relationship between humans and Pokémon remains open to reinterpretation, shaped by compassion, inquiry, and the enduring search for understanding. Chapter 13: The Future of Poké Balls. The landscape of Poké Ball technology is changing rapidly, shaped by new expectations from trainers and ongoing advances in engineering. In recent years, manufacturers have introduced Poké Balls with features that go beyond simple capture. Devices like the Luxury Ball and Friend Ball are designed to increase the rate at which a Pokémon's friendship grows, making it easier for trainers to build strong relationships that encourage evolutions dependent on high friendship. These innovations are not only practical, but also reflect a growing awareness of the importance of emotional bonds. Other designs, such as the Ultra Ball, focus on improving capture rates, especially against stronger wild Pokémon. Its higher catch rate multiplier offers trainers a more reliable way to expand their teams, as seen in the main series games. Distinctive styles and commemorative options have also gained popularity. Premier Balls, for example, are given as bonuses when a trainer purchases 10 or more Pokeballs at once. Despite their distinctive appearance, they offer the same catch rate as a standard Pokeball, but allow trainers to express personal style. Repeat Balls target efficiency, increasing the likelihood of capturing species already registered in a trainer's Pokédex. This is especially useful when seeking alternate forms or completing collections. Timer Balls introduce a tactical element, increasing their effectiveness the longer a battle lasts. This rewards patience and strategic play, giving trainers more control during challenging encounters. These trends are showcased in recent anime episodes and official merchandise, where trainers are seen selecting Pokeballs that best match their approach and goals. The motivation behind these continual updates seems evident. Trainers appear to want greater efficiency, more ways to personalize their experience, and tools that support a variety of strategies. As a result, Pokéball technology has become more accessible and adaptable, reflecting the diverse needs of today's trainers. Looking to the future, the direction of Pokéball development seems likely to build on these trends by integrating increasingly sophisticated features. One plausible advancement involves enhanced health monitoring systems. Future Pokéballs might include sensors that provide trainers with real-time updates on their Pokémon's physical condition, allowing for more attentive care and faster responses to health concerns. This technology could draw from the environment-adaptive features already present in devices like Dive Balls, which provide a higher catch rate multiplier when a Pokémon is encountered while the trainer is underwater or diving. Augmented reality interfaces represent another likely area for growth, with trainers potentially visualizing Pokémon information directly from their Pokéball and overlaying data onto the real world through smart devices. Remote capture capabilities may also become a focus, with future designs extending the distance-based mechanics already seen in Legends Arceus to even more challenging terrain. Such tools would make it easier to engage with elusive or fast-moving Pokémon, expanding the possibilities for exploration and encounter. The precedent set by singular containment devices hints at a future where certain Pokéballs are tailored for unique situations or rare Pokémon. The tradition of scenario-based designs, long established through event-specific and environment-specific models, further suggests a continued move toward finely tuned, situational tools. As these concepts develop, trainers may find themselves managing a more varied toolkit, adapting to new challenges with technology that feels both familiar and advanced. These technological shifts are likely to influence not only how trainers interact with their Pokémon, but also the broader culture and ethics of training. Advanced Poké Balls that promote faster friendship growth, such as luxury and friend balls, could foster closer bonds, supporting evolutions and encouraging more empathetic care. At the same time, features that monitor health or allow remote capture introduce questions about the nature of these relationships. Trainers may begin to rely more on data and automation, which could change the traditional balance of trust and direct engagement. Strategic tools like Dusk and Timer Balls, with their conditional bonuses based on time or battle duration, encourage new forms of planning and decision-making, possibly leading to changes in how wild encounters are approached. The introduction of more specialized and commemorative Poké Balls, such as Repeat and Premier Balls, emphasizes collection and personal expression within the community. Trainers may become more invested in curating their Poké Ball selections, using certain devices to mark achievements or display status. The continued appeal of high-performance options like Ultra Balls and the Master Ball, which significantly improve capture success or remove uncertainty entirely, may shift expectations around what it means to be a skilled trainer. The presence of Master Balls, with their guaranteed effect, reduces the need for prolonged capture battles, altering the rhythm and significance of legendary encounters. Traditional crafting methods, as seen with Apricorn crafted balls and Hissortian wooden designs, remain part of the conversation. These historically grounded tools recall a time when trainers tailored their equipment to specific environments or Pokémon traits. As technology advances, the contrast between handcrafted and high-tech options may prompt renewed interest in the origins of Poké Ball design, raising questions about authenticity and the value of personal effort. As new features become standard, there may be shifts in training and battling practices. Increased reliance on monitoring and automation could lead to revised rules or expectations, both in official competitions and in everyday training. Trainers and organizations may need to consider how these changes affect fairness, sportsmanship, and the core values of Pokémon-human partnership. While some will welcome the improved care and convenience offered by advanced Poké Balls, others may worry about the risk of detachment or over-reliance on technology. These developments reflect the ongoing dialogue between tradition and innovation within the Pokémon world. As Poké Ball technology continues to evolve, trainers are likely to encounter new opportunities and dilemmas. The future may bring devices that are more powerful, more connected, and more personalized than ever before. At the same time, each advancement will invite trainers to think carefully about how they use these tools, how they care for their Pokémon, and how they wish to shape their own journey. The path forward is defined by curiosity, adaptation, and the enduring quest to balance progress with meaning. Chapter 14: Interactive Technology, Poké Balls in AR and VR. In recent years, augmented reality has become a major influence on the way trainers experience Poké Balls in their day-to-day lives. The introduction of Pokémon Go marked a significant shift, allowing players to use their mobile devices to encounter and interact with Pokémon superimposed onto real-world environments. With the camera active, wild Pokémon appear as if they are standing right in front of the user on city sidewalks, park benches, or grassy fields. In this setting, the Poké Ball is no longer just a concept within a digital game. It becomes a tool that players manipulate with their own hands, using simple touchscreen swipes to flick Pokéballs toward Pokémon that seem to inhabit the same physical space. This blending of digital and real worlds makes each encounter feel immediate and personal, as if the boundary between the two has softened. The tactile process of throwing a Pokéball in augmented reality is central to the appeal of these experiences. When a Pokémon appears, players line up their shot, judge the angle, and attempt the throw, all while watching the Pokémon react in real time. The ball arcs, bounces, and sometimes misses, leading to playful responses from the target. For more challenging encounters, the use of Great Balls and Ultra Balls becomes important, as these offer a higher chance of success compared to standard Poké Balls. The decision of which ball to use, and the physical act of selecting and throwing it, adds a layer of strategy and involvement that is unique to our platforms. Players often find themselves moving around in their actual environment, adjusting their position to get a better view or to avoid obstacles, further reinforcing the sense that Pokémon have stepped into the real world. Special events and promotional tie-ins have highlighted the flexibility of AR Pokéball interactions. During certain Pokémon Go events, unique Pokémon may appear more frequently, or special effects might be added to the capture process, drawing crowds to landmarks and encouraging social play. Some events have introduced themed Poké Balls, or altered visual effects, such as fireworks or seasonal decorations, that appear when a capture is attempted. These features not only make the experience more visually engaging, but also foster a sense of community, as groups of trainers gather in public spaces to share in the excitement of rare encounters. The integration of Poké Balls into AR has redefined how trainers approach the world around them, turning familiar streets into potential habitats and every walk into an adventure. Virtual reality, while not yet officially represented by a dedicated Pokémon title, has been the subject of much speculation and anticipation. The potential of VR to transform Pokémon battles and training sessions is often discussed in fan communities and in official statements, hinting at future directions. In a fully immersive VR environment, the use of Poké Balls could take on new dimensions. Imagine standing in a simulated stadium, with the sights and sounds of a cheering crowd all around, holding a virtual Poké Ball in hand. The act of releasing a Pokémon becomes a physical gesture, with the ball opening and the Pokémon materializing before the trainer's eyes in a lifelike three-dimensional space. Within these virtual arenas, trainers would be able to experience battles with a heightened sense of presence. The visual detail of the battlefield, the realistic movement of Pokémon, and the ability to look around freely would make each encounter more vivid. Pokéballs would serve not only as the means to summon and recall Pokémon, but also as important tools for managing team strategies and responding to dynamic situations. The role of the Pokéball in these sessions would extend beyond its traditional function, becoming an interactive object that responds to the trainer's actions in real time. VR demonstrations and anime scenes have occasionally hinted at this kind of immersion, showing trainers physically throwing Pokéballs or issuing commands in a way that feels immediate and natural. While no official VR Pokémon product currently exists, the possibilities suggested by current technology continue to inspire both fans and developers. The interactive potential of AR and VR technologies opens up new avenues for Pokéball innovations that could deepen the connection between trainers and their Pokémon. Already, promotional AR events in Pokémon Go have shown how real-world activities can be enhanced by digital features, encouraging collaboration and social interaction. Trainers might imagine a future where sensory feedback, such as gentle vibrations or audio cues, provides more information about the Pokémon inside a Pokéball. AR could enable trainers to see visual data about their Pokémon overlaid on their surroundings, while VR might allow for shared activities, such as cooperative training or exploration, within immersive digital environments. Personalization could become a more prominent aspect of Pokéball use as these technologies advance. Trainers may be able to customize the appearance or behavior of their Pokéballs, expressing their style in both digital and real-world settings. Collaborative experiences, such as group battles or special events, could leverage AR and VR to create richer forms of engagement, bringing trainers together in new ways. Official statements and previews sometimes hint at these possibilities, suggesting that the integration of Pokéballs with interactive technology is an area of ongoing exploration. As AR and VR platforms continue to develop, the ways in which trainers use Poké Balls are likely to become even more varied and engaging. The current trends suggest that trainers will have increasing opportunities to interact with their Pokémon and with each other in settings that feel both familiar and extraordinary. The use of Poké Balls in these environments adds a layer of immersion and interactivity that enriches the entire Pokémon experience, encouraging trainers to imagine new possibilities for adventure and connection. Chapter 15: Poké Balls in Competitive Play. A Poké Ball thrown in a competitive match carries more weight than its appearance suggests. For serious trainers, the choice of ball is woven into every phase of preparation, from assembling a roster to stepping onto the tournament stage. Each type of Poké Ball offers unique features that can influence the preparation and strategy of a trainer's team. The luxury ball, for example, is valued for its ability to cause friendship to grow at twice the normal rate as the Pokémon gains experience, making it a long-term investment in a Pokémon's happiness. This trait is especially beneficial for trainers aiming to evolve species that require high friendship, allowing for more efficient team building in formats where such evolutions can shape a team's composition. Similarly, the Friend Ball sets the initial friendship of a caught Pokémon to a high level, which can expedite the use of friendship-based moves or evolutions during the training phase. This subtle advantage can help trainers maximize the potential of their team before stepping into the competitive arena. Other Pokéballs are prized for their situational effectiveness in capturing specific kinds of Pokémon. The Timer Ball, for instance, becomes more reliable as a battle drags on, making it useful for securing difficult captures during long encounters in the wild. While this function is most relevant during team assembly, rather than the battles themselves, it allows competitive trainers to pursue rare or elusive Pokémon without expending excessive effort. The Dusk Ball is another specialized option, offering an increased catch rate for Pokémon found in caves or at night. Its effectiveness makes it a staple for trainers seeking nocturnal or subterranean species, especially when preparing for tournaments that require a diverse roster. The Quick Ball, introduced in Pokémon Diamond and Pearl, provides the greatest benefit on the first turn of an encounter, streamlining the process of capturing wild Pokémon swiftly and efficiently during team-building phases. The Heavy Ball, meanwhile, rewards trainers who know their targets well, offering improved odds precisely for those large, weighty Pokémon that can anchor a competitive roster. As trainers move from team preparation to actual competition, the selection of a Pokéball can become a layered tactical decision. Mechanics such as the Ultra Ball's higher catch rate are considered when attempting to secure high-level wild Pokémon, especially those needed for advanced strategies or breeding projects. The Lure Ball, with its increased effectiveness for Pokémon found through fishing, finds its place in the toolkit of trainers who specialize in aquatic types or seek specific abilities available only from water-dwelling Pokémon. The Repeat Ball, which offers a dramatically increased catch rate for species already registered in a trainer's collection, is frequently used in breeding projects or when assembling teams of identical Pokémon for specific strategies. For situations where a significant level difference exists, the Level Ball becomes the tool of choice, offering a higher catch rate when the trainer's own Pokémon outmatches the target. Each of these tools is used with intent, reflecting a trainer's understanding of both the mechanics and their own goals. Beyond the technical aspects, the visible choice of Pokéball during a battle introduces psychological elements that can influence the flow of competition. In official matches, the type of Pokéball used to catch a Pokémon is displayed to all participants, even though it does not alter the mechanics of the battle itself. Trainers sometimes select certain Pokéballs to unsettle or distract opponents, taking advantage of the associations and expectations tied to each design. For example, deploying a Pokémon from a Premier Ball, known for its commemorative status and minimalistic appearance, might signal a sense of confidence or style. In high-stakes matches, surprising an opponent with an unconventional or rare Poké Ball can prompt them to reconsider their own assumptions, potentially affecting their decisions in subtle ways. Various tournament moments and anime battles have suggested that these choices can add a layer of mind games, with trainers potentially leveraging both reputation and presentation to gain a psychological edge. The evolution of Pokéball technology has reshaped competitive strategies, introducing both new opportunities and challenges. The introduction of specialized balls like the dive ball expanded options for trainers in tournaments or events that simulate diverse terrains, making it possible to build teams tailored to underwater encounters. The nest ball, which is more effective on lower-level Pokémon, can factor into early team assembly and scouting in competitive ladders, giving trainers an incentive to pursue younger or less experienced Pokémon for specific roles. The Beast Ball, designed for Ultra Beasts, provides a unique catch rate modifier that is highly effective for its intended targets, but almost useless for regular Pokémon. This specificity requires trainers to carefully plan their team composition in formats that allow Ultra Beasts, balancing the potential strength of these rare creatures against the difficulty of acquiring them. Technological advances have also brought new Pokéball types that respond to changes in the competitive environment. The Dream Ball, once associated with the Pokémon Dream World online feature, became sought after because Pokémon obtainable through that service often carried hidden abilities. In contemporary competitive play, a Pokémon held in a Dream Ball signals both rarity and the possibility of an otherwise hard-to-access hidden ability. Trainers often seek out Pokémon caught in Dream Balls to signal both rarity and access to exclusive abilities, adding another dimension to team presentation. In Pokémon Legends, Arceus, innovations such as the Wing Ball and Gigaton Ball have expanded the range of capture strategies. The Wing Ball, like the Feather Ball, is designed for capturing Pokémon at high altitudes or in mid-air, making it particularly suited to trainers seeking airborne species during the team-building phase. The Gigaton Ball's weight-based catch mechanic introduces additional considerations when targeting heavy or slow-moving Pokémon, although its impact is limited to overworld captures rather than competitive matches themselves. These advancements have led to shifts in tournament rules and strategies as trainers adapt to the latest tools and features. Game updates and new Pokéball types can prompt changes in how teams are assembled and presented, requiring ongoing flexibility and awareness. Some innovations open new avenues for creative strategies, while others raise challenges that demand careful planning and adjustment. As a result, the landscape of competitive play remains dynamic, shaped by the interplay of technology, psychology, and the evolving preferences of trainers. The ongoing refinement of Pokéball technology continues to influence how trainers approach competition, offering new possibilities and inviting thoughtful experimentation in the pursuit of victory. Chapter 16: Reflections on Evolution. Centuries before a trainer ever clipped a Pokéball to their belt, the impulse to contain and connect with Pokémon was already taking shape in artifacts, ceremonial objects, and the hands of early craftspeople. Evidence from the anime, such as the Orange League winner's trophy, which is depicted as a centuries-old artifact resembling a Pokéball, suggests that ball-shaped designs of this kind have existed for a very long time within the Pokémon world. These early forms, sometimes appearing as artifacts or ceremonial objects, reveal the deep roots of the Pokéball in Pokémon culture. As time progressed, the need for improved functionality drove innovation. In the Johto region, Apricorn-based Pokéballs crafted by Kurt became known for their distinct colors and specialized uses, reflecting the ingenuity of early artisans. This era showcased how trainers and inventors adapted to local resources and the challenges of their environment. The transition to more advanced mechanical designs, as seen through the twist-top activation mechanism from an earlier era, illustrates the gradual shift toward engineered solutions that the series has already begun to document. The arrival of mass-produced Poké Balls marked another turning point. Generation 3 games introduced a wider range of Poké Ball varieties, moving beyond Apricorn origins and signaling the start of broad industrial production. These innovations were often responses to trainers' needs for greater versatility and effectiveness, echoing changes in the world around them. In Generation 4, most earlier Poké Ball types returned alongside new additions, though availability sometimes depended on the specific game. This phase highlights how the franchise balanced tradition with new ideas, revisiting and refining established designs. More recently, Pokémon Legends Arceus introduced Hisuian Heavy Balls, Leaden Balls, Gigaton Balls, Feather Balls, Wing Balls, Jet Balls, and the Origin Ball, each reflecting unique requirements of the Hisui region. These items, limited to a specific historical setting, show how Pokéball technology has adapted to different eras and environments. Across each stage, Pokéballs have evolved in response to the changing needs and aspirations of trainers, consistently shaped by the world in which they appear. Beyond their practical uses, Pokéballs hold deep cultural and symbolic meaning in the Pokémon universe. In Lucario and the Mystery of Mew, Sir Aaron's staff contains a Pokéball-like object, used to hold Lucario, blending ancient tradition with emerging technology. Pokéballs have become more than simple tools. They represent the evolving bond between trainers and Pokémon, facilitating capture and release as central elements of the relationship. Antique designs, sometimes fragile yet still functional, appear in anime episodes, underscoring a sense of continuity and reverence for the past. The Orange League Winners' Trophy, shaped like a Pokéball and treasured as a prized artifact, points to a long-standing symbolic value attached to these devices. As Pokéballs became central to gameplay and storytelling, they also took on the role of rite of passage. Trainers in games and anime often receive their first Pokéball as a marker of growth or new beginnings. The evolution from prototype models to the standard devices seen today mirrors the journeys of trainers themselves, with Pokéballs acting as both literal and figurative keys to adventure. In the Generation 2 games, trainer sprites depict Pokéballs in varying colors, such as blue or gray. Some players have interpreted these differences as reflecting regional or cultural identities, though this detail has no confirmed in-game explanation. This subtle detail hints at the ways in which Pokéballs serve as markers of individuality and community. Throughout the series, their presence shapes the dynamics between humans and Pokémon, reinforcing themes of partnership, trust, and mutual respect. Looking ahead, the future of Pokéballs remains open to new possibilities. Recent games like Pokémon Legends Arceus revisit the roots of Pokéball design, introducing Hisuian Pokéballs, Great Balls, and Ultra Balls as wooden precursors to modern versions. This approach suggests that the franchise is interested in exploring the flexible history of Pokéball technology, adapting old ideas for new contexts. Innovations such as feather balls, wing balls, and jet balls, which travel farther when thrown, offer new mechanics for reaching distant or airborne Pokémon, hinting at future gameplay enhancements that could further expand trainer strategies. This tiered system of weighted capture tools continues to echo the evolution of the heavy ball in later mainline games, reinforcing how historical designs prefigured modern mechanics. The Origin Ball, designed for a unique encounter with origin form Dialga or Palkia, stands out as a targeted innovation that ties technology to specific narrative moments. The appearance of mechanical Pokéball variants, such as twist-top models in the anime, has prompted fans to consider the ongoing evolution of design within the lore. This progression, from Apricorn-based devices to modern and region-specific variants, reflects a willingness to experiment with both form and function. Advancements in real-world technology have the potential to inspire the development of new features or narrative twists, much as they have in previous generations. As trends in gaming and connectivity evolve, Poké Balls might incorporate elements that enhance immersion, personalization, or accessibility. Fan communities and commentators have pointed to recent episodes and promotional materials as possible hints at upcoming innovations, encouraging speculation about what trainers might encounter next. Whether through new types, improved mechanics, or deeper lore, future Pokéballs seem well positioned to remain central to both gameplay and storytelling. The journey of Pokéballs is far from over, inviting trainers and fans to imagine what new chapters await in the ongoing evolution of these iconic devices.